Yes, sir. So now just up to this, just you people aware, there are multiple types of authentications we covered in the last sessions. Next, even we covered, even we discussed about multiple types of authentications we covered. Even we had a discussion about sir, what is a pagination, how you can implement a pagination. Next, how you can implement do you know how you can implement the ordering, filtering concept? What is the need of nested serializers? All those things we discussed very clearly, sir. Sir, now the next cinema what I want to discuss is, I gave the word even basic authentication under session authentication also. Okay, basic authentication under session authentication also. I want to show just a basic idea. In reality, the people are not going to use these things, right? Just what is the idea? By mistake, if the in the interview room, if interview person is asking, can you please explain about basic authentication, how it will be performed in the REST API? Why the people are not going to use? Next, session authentication. Okay, how you can perform? Can you please explain with a small example? Then we should be in a position to understand. But the required important types of authentication, token authentication, JWT authentication, custom authentication, these things already I discussed in the last sessions, right? Now I want to go for basic authentication, how you can do that. Under then session authentication I will explain, sir. So basic authentication, it's a very easy to use. It's a very easy to use, sir. But never not recommended in the production environment. Remember this one, sir. It's not recommended in the production. Just for testing purpose, it's okay. Because the reason is security. Security is the very less if I will go for basic authentication. Because with every request, you require to provide your username and password. There is no question of session. There is no chance of tokens. Such type of terminology is not there. With every request, you require to provide your username and password. Okay, in base 64 encoding, anyway, it is not that much strong encoding. That's why, do you know what will happen is security problems are going to come in the picture. That's why it's never recommended to use basic authentication. Okay, please make sure at this point. Next, session authentication later we will talk about, but how to use basic authentication, let me talk about this one, sir. Very simple, sir. Here just observe carefully. Let me close all these nonsense not required for me. Okay, now here just I'm taking REST API. Just let me start a new project, sir. Of course, here just we are not required. Okay, here just REST apps voting d Django admin start the project. Next, here I'm taking basic under session project. Okay, session basic under session auth project like this I'm taking, sir. Auth project basic session auth project like this I'm taking, sir. Okay, sir. Basic authentication I want to do. Next, session authentication also I want to do that. That's why basic and session auth project like this I'm taking. So now have a look once here. Just observe that. Observe a bit very carefully, sir. Here basic. So py manage.py manage.py. So here start the app. Okay, test the app like this, right? Okay, now all the things I will copy paste from the previous examples only. Don't worry, sir. I'm not required to type again and again. So do you know what? Maybe our last project. Maybe our last project. Here just have a look once. Authentications, permissions, serializers like. Sir, we user.py. Okay, well. Sir, now here serializers.py. Okay, employee serializer, perfect. Okay, next models.py. Yes, all these things. Next and after that admin.py. Okay, like all the things are same. So what I will do is, let me copy. View file must be required, admin file must be required, models file must be required, serializer file must be required. These are the four things, just I'm copying. Just I copied, sir. Here just I copied. Now, sir, basic session test app like, sir, let me remove these files. We use admin like These files are just I'm trying to remove, sir. Now let me paste all these things. Okay, well, sir, just before that, here see this one. Okay, settings.py. Can you please guide what things I want to add, sir? Please respond. What things I require to add? REST framework, REST framework. Next, what the next one I have to add? Test example. That's all. Only two things I require to add. Okay, well. Now, sir, just let me show the cinema models.py. Can you please tell any explanation is required here? Can you please confirm any explanation is required about this one? Okay, nothing. Just we did several times. Admin.py, admin.py. So admin.py, employee admin, register employee under employee admin. That's all. Now let me do make migrations. Okay, make migrations. Next, let me do migrate. Okay, now here just migrations, migrate. Okay, now what next? Here just observe that. Let me create super user. I want to insert some dummy data. Okay, here just 1 minute, sir. Yes, I want to insert some dummy data. Create super user. Yes, username Durga. Next Durga 123. Next Durga 123, like this, right? Okay, super user created successfully. Next run server. I didn't touch any urls.py. That's why don't worry, not required to worry. Happily the server is going to run. Okay, now here next thing, let me log in and just add 2 or 3 records. Just matter of 2 minutes. Don't worry, sir, because anyway known thing. But here Durga, next Durga 123, like this I'm taking. Employee table will be there. Yes, employees table is already there. Add employee 100. Next Sunny, let me take. Next 1000. Okay, 1000 employee address. Okay, Mumbai, like I'm taking Mumbai, like save and add another. Just 200. Employee name Bunny. Next 2000. Next employee address maybe Hyderabad, like. Next last records are 300. Next employee name Chinni I'm taking. Next employee salary 3000. Next employee address maybe Bangalore, like I'm taking, sir. That's all. These are the 4 records. These are the 3 records whatever we added, sir. Sir, up to this, okay, we added that's all. Sir, now let me go for the next cinema. Okay, let me go for the next thing what we have to talk. Sir, now let me open, sir, here serializer.py. Not required to keep any explanation. Same terminology. Any explanation is required about this one? Please confirm. Any explanation is required about this one? Okay, well, next, here do you know views.py. Views.py. Sir, there are multiple things are available. Let me, sir, this render is not required. Next, model view set must be required. Employee must be required. Employee serializer must be required. Next, sir, import. Okay, so import from here. I want to use basic authentication. I want to use basic authentication. Next, permissions. Import is authenticated. That's all. Is authenticated, like. So my own permissions I don't want to take. This type of thing I don't want. That's also. Okay, simple. Sir, now my question is, query set is the same. Serializer class is the same. Next, authentication classes. Okay, authentication classes. What is the which authentication class I want to take? Can you please spell out, sir? Now which authentication class I'm going to take? Basic authentication. Next, which permission class I'm taking, sir? Is sir authenticated. That's it. Can you please confirm? Any explanation is required about this model view set? Please confirm. Any explanation is required about this model view set? Nothing. That's all. So now take a bit very special care. Up to this is the very clear, right? Next up, one more thing, sir. We have to register. It is the view set, right? We require to register with the rotor in the urls.py. Okay, let me do that activity also. Okay, in this project, urls.py. Okay, now sir, observe, maybe, okay, mostly something must be required. Let me use in our project urls.py also. Okay, let me remove these. Like, sir, what things are required? URL include must be required, test app views are required, rotor must be required, default rotor. Next, rotor dot register. What is the view name? Employee crud cbb, employee crud cbb, same name only, right? Next, from rest of framework auth tokens, this type of thing is not required. Next, admin must be required. Next, all the remaining things, nothing. Sir, can you please confirm? Sir, everything is covered, right? Only everything is covered, right? That's all. Sir, this is just here we are not required. We are not required to configure any URL pattern. Just register with the rotor. That thing is enough. API. This API itself acts as URL pattern, right? Okay, to access. Okay, that's it. Now the point is, sir, here let me comment this authentication under authenticated permission classes, right? Just I'm commenting these two things, right? Now let me send the request. Let me start the server. Server is already started, sir. Now I want to send the request. How you can send the request? Here /API. Now observe, happily the 3 records whatever we created, Sunny, Bunny, Chinny, happily we are going to get. Up to this there is no doubt at all. Now do you know, get list operation is okay. Next, create operation is also there. For you create operation also you can do that. Next, do you know, one get operation also? Yes, you are getting a particular record. Next, do you know, here put operation, put and patch, both the things you can perform. Next, here delete operation also. All the 5 CRUD operations are you can perform. If you can go for view set or model view set, it's very easy, sir. Okay, like that's it. So now I want to go for authentication. Observe very carefully, sir. If you want to go for authentication, okay, basic authentication I want to use, sir. Here take very special care about this one. So how you can send? How you can send the request? If I keep like this, basic authentication is authenticated. Now let me send the request. Let me send the request. Have you observed? Immediately it's going to ask, oh, please provide username and password. Again, please provide username and password. Username and password. Like this, right? Please provide username and password. Like this, it's asking. If you didn't provide, authentication credentials were not provided, like this. Are you getting that? Authentication credentials were not provided, like this, right? Okay. Now what I'm trying to take, just let me ask again. Let me send the request again. Now it will ask, can you please provide username and password? Okay. What is the username, sir? Can you please observe? Durga. And what is the password we have? Durga 123. Are you getting? Durga 123. Is it a valid user or not? Is it a valid user or not? Can you please? Yes, valid user. Now have you observed, right? Employee, like this, right? So in basic authentication, this form, who is the responsible to display? Who is the responsible to display this form? Is so browser itself is going to take care. Are getting? Browsers inbuilt form we are going to get. So what problems are there with this? The biggest problem here is problem number one. So username, okay, username and password will send to the server. Username and password will send to the server in base 64 encoding. Are you getting? In base 64 encoding, which is not secured. Remember this one, which is not secured, sir. username and password will send to the server in base 64 encoding, which is not secured. Remember this one, okay? Like this is the which is not secured, sir. Okay, like credential values may be stored in cookies. No, we know everything we require to provide. Everything we require to provide from the what we call we require to provide as a part of request only. Remember that. Okay, it is not going to be stored in the form of cookies. Now here just observe this is the problem. Next, the second, if I send the request, of course, if I send the request, here see this one. If I send the request, of course this browser is already authenticated. Regarding this browser is already authenticated, right? 1 minute. Now let me open another browser instance. Yes, can you please observe? Next, second problem here is, Priyank is asking one small doubt, sir. But we use a JWT token, which is also used base 64 encoding only. Yes, Priyank. In the case of JWT token authentication, we are going to send the token. Observe that we are not passing username and password. So username and password we are not required to provide. But here compulsory we require to provide username and password for authentication purpose. Getting right? Their communication will be happen. Communication will be happen with do you know right? Communication by default will be happen with what we call token only. But here compulsory username and password must be required. Getting right? Next, sir, how base 64 become unsafe? Yeah. Within a minute I will discuss. Don't worry. Sir, now here just observe carefully. The second problem here is, yes, here have a look once. This one is this one itself is this is the form. We are not having any control on this form, sir. We are not having any control on this form. So colors, this is the Durga soft authentication form, or otherwise API look and feel we can't customize. Regarding look and feel we can't customize. So the second problem here is we can't customize look and feel of authentication form. So remember that username and password will send to the server in base 64 encoding, which is not secure. We can't customize look and feel of authentication form. Okay, like so now here just what is the meaning of base 64 encoding? Just in a minute, how it is not secure? Just in a minute, I will show, sir. Don't worry. Here I'm taking Durga. Next and after that Durga 1 2 3. Okay, Durga and Durga 1 2 3 like this, right? Now happily the data is going to send. The data will send to the server as a part of request. Now my server will be validated. The server is going to validate whether this username and password valid or not. Once valid, now it is going to display API. This type of thing is by default considered as basic authentication. Okay, well, so now how this username and password are not secured? How base 64 encoding is not secured? Just have a look once, sir. My requirement is I want to send the request from the command prompt. Observe that I want to send the request from the command prompt. Okay, now let me open another command prompt. Now HTTP, okay, localhost 8000/API/ like this I'm sending. If I send the request, immediately it's going to provide authentication credentials were not provided. Regarding authentication credentials are not provided like this, right? Now the point here is just observe that authentication credentials were not provided. Like I have to provide authentication credentials. Can you please tell what is my authentication credentials? What the my username and password? Durga 1 2 3. How you can pass this username and password? Just observe. If I send like here, you know, if you want to send the username and password in basic authentication, what is the way, sir? Very simple. Here, let me convert my username and password in encrypted form. Just observe that. base 64 encoding. Base 64 encode online. Observe that. Base 64 encode online like this I'm taking, sir. Now here just let me open sir. That's all. What is your username, sir? Encoding tools are available. What is the username? Can you please tell? Durga. What is the password, sir? Respond. What is the password? Durga 123. Just I'm showing manually for you people, like Durga 123. Now can you please encode? Can you please encode? Have you observed? This is the encoded string of our username and password. Legend. This is the encoded string of username and password, sir. Okay, well, ZHVY, like it is the encoded string of username and password. Now the point here is how you can send this encoded thing. Now here, let me send my request. I want to send the request here. What I want to take, sir, after this, let me copy. So you will get much clarity. Here, after this, authorization. What I have to take, sir? Authorization. Next, which authorization? Basic. I'm taking authorization basic. And then your provided, okay, username and password in base 64 encoding. Okay, we are not required to do every time. Don't worry, sir. This is just for showing. Now observe. The username and password will send to the server in base 64 encoding, right? Now observe a bit carefully about this one. Have a look once. Can you please have a look? Am I able to get the data or not? Is it authenticated or not? Priyank, is it authenticated or not? Yes. Now I can able to get the data, right? So how you are getting this string base 64 encoding? Now the point is, take very special care. Why this is not secured? Why this one is not secured? Okay. So someone captured this authenticated this string, encoded string. Now let me open. Now have a look once, sir. Have a look once. This is encoded string. Can you please decode? Can you please decode? Are you getting? Can you please decode? Then automatically Durga 123. Are you getting? Durga is the username, and after that Durga 123 the password. Clear, right? So security wise, there is a bigger problem is there, because for authentication purpose, every time you require to provide your username and password. Okay, like. But anyway, from the browser, whenever you are providing username and password, automatically browser will encrypt. The browser will perform encoding of this one and sending to the server. Okay, but from the command prompt, I'm doing manually, right? Even from the postman also, do you know? Even from the postman also, we can do that. But postman is going to provide a small extra utility for basic authentication. We are not required to do. Okay, this encoded form. Don't worry, I will show. Yeah, Priyanka. Saiteja, are you facing this problem where? Is it in basic authentication? Saiteja. Yes, basic authentication may be the default time may be configured like that. Okay, next one more. Here just observe. Yeah. Base 64 is safe for JWT since refreshing token someone. Yeah. Is the base 64 encoding, is it correct in JWT, Priyank? Sure. If it is base 64 encoding, I don't think it may be compulsory. It may send in some encrypted form. If it is a simple base 64 encoding, any person can able to decode. I don't think we will cross check. Okay. Yeah. So now just observe that here how you can send the request. Yeah. How we can send the request. Let me send the request with just I'm taking. Let me send the request with API. Okay, like what will happen, sir? Just I'm sending the get request. Just I'm sending the get request. Get request. Authentication credentials were not provided. Okay, because basic authentication we are using. That's why authentication credentials were not provided. Like it's a very clear. Now the point here is take a bit very special care. How you can pass okay authentication credentials, right? Sir, in the header section, in the headers, now authorization, what we have to take? Authorization. Next here, what I require to pass? Authorization. Okay, basic this one we require to pass. Authorization, just a basic like value we have to pass this one. Now sir, just I'm providing my username and password. Just I'm providing my username and password in the base 64 I mean base 64 encoding, right? Okay, have a look once. Now observe carefully. Yes, now we can able to get. Now we can able to get, sir. Okay, well, sir, there is one more thing is available here. Regarding one more thing is available here, sir. That this is what is this format? Can you please confirm? Respond. Can you please confirm what is this format? Yes, friends. This format is what? Base 64 encoded format. Okay, we are doing manually, right? But instead of that, instead of this one, suppose I'm not passing this. Can you please send the request? Can you please send the request? Okay, authentication credentials are provided like, but we have there is one more way is there, sir. What is that? Is in the here just there is one another possibility is there. We have authorization section. We have authorization. Observe very carefully, sir. We have authorization section. In the authorization, do you know digest basic bearer token, no auth, like here like we have several. In the just select basic authentication. Okay, now you have to provide your username and password. Okay, Durga and Durga 123. Assume that Durga 123 like this. Now, so we are not required to do base 64 encoding. Automatically, this postman tool itself is going to do that. Regarding automatically, this postman tool itself is going to take care. Now, just send the request. Now let me send the request. Happily, do you know? Can I able to access the data or not? That's what you should aware, sir. Okay, like so. What is the problem? What is the limitation with the base 64 encoding? I mean, what is the limitation with basic authentication? There are two problems what I highlighted. The first problem is username and password should send in the base 64 encoding, which is not secure. Next, we can't customize look and feel of authentication form. Remember this one, sir. We can't customize look and feel of authentication form. Remember. So just authentication form is always going to display. Is always going to display. Have you observed, right? authentication form is always a browser default authentication form is going to come, sir. Just 127/API browser default authentication form is going to come. Clear, friends? Any doubt about this one? Yeah. Priyank, just definitely there should be uh, some advantage. There should be some advantage when compared with this basic authentication for the JWT. Otherwise, the people are not following with respect to the security, which is the most important, sir. Can you please observe? The signature is issued by JWT backend using the header base 64 plus a payload base 64 plus a secret key. Are you getting that? Plus a secret key, something like upon each request, the signature is verified. If any information in the header in the payload was changed by the client, it will be invalidate the signature. So the only way checking validating signature is a secret key, something like. Are you getting it? Is the most secure. Just don't feel, sir, only base header part and payload part plus something is there. Secret key is also is going to be included. Getting, Priyank? Getting right? It is doing some extra activity. That's why it will become more secure. Okay. Yeah, just don't worry, don't think too much. Just the JWT authentication. It is not simply plain base 64 encoding. It is doing some extra thing. That's why JWT is the more secure. That's all. Why you have to worry about the internal things? What the need of confusion? Getting? Okay, it is simply telling the token what we are passing. It contains 3 parts are available. Okay, secret key. Next up, header part base 64, payload part base 64, and then like. Header part you are going to get. Payload part you are going to get. Next and after that, where is the secret key? Yes. Getting right? Secret key is also there. Where is the secret key? Where is the signature? You are getting only header part and the payload. After payload, there is some another part is there which is called signature. Yeah. Where is the signature part? Getting right? Yeah. So next, it is the signature is missing. Signature is missing here. Next and after that, one more thing, sir. Which algorithm it is using? Which algorithm it is using? SHA-256 algorithm. More secured encrypted algorithms, sir. This is the algorithm which is used in the blockchain. Getting right, Priyank? So some security will be is there in the JWT. Otherwise, everyone is going to use basic authentication only. Very easy, right? Okay, why? What the need of JWT authentication? The most secured algorithm. Okay, so like that's all. So now I hope what is how you can set up basic authentication, how you can set up basic authentication, how you can implement basic authentication, what limitations are there. Just mainly concentrating security is not up to the mark. That's why this one in production the people are not going to use. Just for testing purpose it's okay. Next and after that, we can't customize look and feel of the authentication form or login form. We can't customize that. So now the second authentication, session authentication, sir. Observe very carefully, sir. Up to basic authentication, anyone having the doubt? Please confirm. I didn't do any much activity. Just here we have to specify basic authentication class and is authenticated. That's all. No extra configurations I did. Okay. Next, what I want to take is session authentication, sir. Most of the people are going to use the word. This is the Django's default authentication mechanism. Django default authentication means, do you know in Django how the authentication can be performed, sir? Django inbuilt application is there. What is that application? Auth application. Regarding Django's inbuilt application is there. What is that application, sir? This is the auth application is available, sir. Okay, like now the point here is, so by using this auth application, we can use this auth application, Django's inbuilt authentication, so to validate, I mean to access my REST API, sir. How you can implement that? Very simple. Here just observe. In the same example, I want to implement. In the same example, I want to implement, sir. Just to create basic idea. That's all. Just observe. Here, what I'm trying to take here is, just observe. This is my mode view here. Instead of basic authentication, let me take session authentication. Session authentication. Next, instead of basic authentication, I'm taking session authentication. Like this, I'm taking, sir. Okay, first. Now, the second thing, what my requirement is, authentication classes, permission classes, like. Now, I want, it is the session authentication. It is the session authentication, right? Now, 1 minute, sir. Here, 127/admin. Maybe admin is already login. That's why log out. One more user, let me create, sir. Let me create one more user. Add user. Okay. User name, Sunny I'm taking. Next, password, Durga 123 I'm taking. Next, Durga 123, confirm password, save, confirm password, save. That's all. One more user I'm creating. Maybe I may use user again. Now I want to send the request. If I send the request, do you know authentication credentials were not provided. Authentication credentials were not provided. Now what I will do is, what I will do is, sir, session authentication must be required. Session authentication must be required. Compulsory user should provide username and password. So for that, to capture his username and password, some login form must be required. The people who attended Django authentication and authorization section, now you can able to understand very easily, sir. What I want to take is, sir, to log in contrib.auth.url, sir. Remember this one, sir. django.contrib.auth.url, sir. Okay, this one you people should aware, sir. Now, so auth application URLs also available for me. Okay, so for login, authentication, log out, everything is going to take care by this person. In the auth application, there is one URL is there named with /login. Observe that one, sir. /login. Then it is going to display login page. Observe that login page. Can I send the request? Can I send the request for login page? Yes, friends, how I can send the request? Can you please tell? In the auth application, there is one login like that. It is there. One URL pattern is there. Okay, how I can send the request based on this URL pattern, urls.py? Please guide. You know, Priyank. So in the auth application, there is one URL is there. Named with the login. Okay, how I can send the request for that? Yes, very simple. What we have to do? Already accounts /login. Login. That's all. We are not required to do anything with the settings.py because it is the default application already there in the settings. Already there in the settings.py. Have you observed, right? Yes, installed the app, auth application is already there. That's why we are not required to do any settings related thing. Now I want to send the request. HTTP colon, just of course localhost 8000 slash accounts slash login. Okay, slash accounts slash login. Accounts is my prefix, whatever I configured here. Have you observed? Accounts slash login. Okay, like now, am I sending a request to auth application or test application? Can you please tell? My test app application or auth application? Am I sending the request to auth application or test application? Auth application, right? Now, in what way auth application is going to respond? Have a look once. Don't get confused. Just I'm showing the basic idea about session authentication, how it is going to be performed, sir. Now, can you please observe what it is telling? Please read these two lines. Very important, sir. Please read these two lines. Template does not exist yet. Okay, template is not available. Which template it is looking, sir? Registration slash login.html. It is expected only. Don't worry. We didn't get any error. Of course, expected error only. The application is always going to look for login.html. This login.html, which should be there inside registration folder. That's why our job is to create this login.html. So login.html, who is going to create? Please confirm. Who is going to create? Auth application is not creating. We have to create. Once you are creating the login form, then colors, look and feel, images, whatever you want, happily you can take. No issue at all. Are you getting right? So complete control. One problem of basic authentication now solved. Now the control is coming to our hand. Now colors, look and feel, everything I can keep based on my requirement, right? Okay. Well, now have a look once, sir. How you can do that? Let me go for basic session auth project. Okay. Now here I'm taking new folder. I have to create. What is the folder name is? Please confirm. Templates folder. Inside the templates folder, it is expecting another new folder. What is that folder? Is registration. Are you getting registration? Can you please observe that these words are fixed words? Registration. Okay. Well, inside the registration, it is expecting one special file. What is that file, sir? Login.html. Okay. That's all. Now here I'm taking just HTML page. Okay. Like now I'm taking HTML page, and then here. But whenever you are using templates in the settings.py, compulsory we have to do one thing. At our childhood, somewhere we discussed it, right? Compulsory we require to do something. What is that? Is here base dir. What is the other one? Template dir is equal to os.path.join base dir comma templates. Are you getting? os.path.join base dir comma templates like this I'm taking, sir. Okay. Now here just observe that template dir. Yes, here template dir like this I'm taking. Template dir like I have to take. That's all. That is the extra thing what I require to do, sir. Okay. So now just observe a bit very carefully. Sir, that's all. Next, let me open this bloody login.html. Login.html. Here just I'm taking session authentication session authentication demo. Yes, any name you can take, sir. Session authentication demo login to access API. Login to access API. Now HR I'm taking. Okay, well. Now who is the responsible to send the parameters? Auth application is going to take care. Let me take one form. Form must be required. Form must be required. Okay. Next, it is the method post. Okay, form must be required. Method post. Here, have you remembered, right? Okay, what we have to take form dot as p. Have you remembered? At our childhood somewhere we covered form dot as p. Okay, as p. Next, one more. If it is a post request, compulsory we require to pass CSRF token. Are you getting CSRF? CSRF token compulsory we require to pass, right? Okay, well, form is ready. Next, submit button compulsory we have to take. Okay, here button we can take. Type is submit button. Type is submit button. That's all. Sir, now name is not required. Sir, here log in. Can you please log in like this? Any doubt? Any doubt at our childhood? All these things we discussed, sir. Have you remembered? Just that's all. This is about login. Login.html, right? Now let me send the request. Okay, let me send the request, right? Now I'm sending the request. I'm sending the request for login page. I'm sending the request for login page. Observe this one. I'm sending the request for login page. Yes, wonderful. Now I can able to see login page. Who is the responsible to send the request for this login.html? Auth application is going to take care. Okay, auth application is going to take care. Okay, username and password, these fields I didn't provide. Who provided this form? Auth application only. Okay, like now observe carefully. Now Durga I'm taking, sir. Durga 1 2 3 login. Are you getting Durga 1 2 3 login like this I do. Now my question is, take a bit very special care about this one. If I log in, after login, the control should goes to, yes, meaningful terminology. Okay, login, sir. Now the control should goes to access our API or not. The control should goes to our API. Assume that the control should goes to our API. So after login, what happened is, now here it is telling you didn't configure profile, accounts profile. Then how I can display? Like it is showing, sir. Now I have to tell, array, after login, you are not required to show my profile page. Can you please provide? Can you please forward to? Can you please forward to sir, what we call our API? Can you please send the request to our API? That thing must be required. Assume that this is right. Now I have one small doubt. Is the authentication happened or not? Please confirm. Is authentication already happened or not happened? Authentication already happened. After authentication, it is trying to display your profile page, but profile page is not available. That's why it is showing that page not found. Remember this one, sir. Now what I want to do is, array. Now what I want to do is, array. Don't display profile page. Don't display profile page. Can you please provide access to? Can you please send the access to? Access to which ones are access our API? How you can do that? Inside, anyone can you please guide? After login, automatically, can you please send the request to my API? Anyone? We covered this one in the Django authentication. Inside settings.py. Okay, well, inside settings.py. Well, what I have to do? Login, redirect. Good. In the settings.py, we have to do a small activity. What is that activity? Yes, login, redirect URL. Are you getting? What we have to take is login, redirect URL. Login, redirect URL is equal to /API. That's it. Login redirect URL is equal to /API. Okay, like this. Getting? Okay. Now automatically after login, now it is not searching for profile page. Now onwards it is going to send the request to API directly. Just observe the terminology here. Let me send the request again for login page. Let me send the request again for login page. Okay, now it is asking. Now Sunny, next Durga 1, 2, 3. Durga 1, 2, 3. Is it, sir, Durga 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Is it valid or invalid? Please tell, is it valid or invalid? Invalid. Who is going to take care? Who is going to take care about this verification of those auth application, right? Can you please observe that? Can you please observe? Please enter a correct username and password. Note that both fields must be maybe case sensitive, like this it is telling. Sunny, and then password Durga 1, 2, 3. Like this I'm taking. If I can click Durga 1, 2, 3, now observe. Now the request will goes to the access. Okay, API access. Now I can able to get. Getting basic. It is the what we call internally. I'm using auth application. Okay, for to implement authentication for my API. This is the Django's in default authentication mechanism, which is nothing but session authentication. Getting, friends? Once you are authenticated, then happily you from any information site. But in reality, use this. Don't worry about that. Clear? So just only extra things what I did. Extra things what I did. Okay? In the views.py, just observe session authentication. This is the one extra line. Okay? What I did, one extra line. Next, in the urls.py, okay, sir, these auth application URLs are included. Auth application URLs are included like next, sir, what is the next one? Whenever you are trying to log in with the auth application login, it is always looking for login.html. That login.html I provided. Okay, I provided login.html. Okay, that's all. Next and after that, okay, in the other part of template I provided this file, sir. Next and after that, here the next thing is, sir, is the remaining is the same. Once I provided username and password submit, now the request will goes to auth application. Now the request will goes to auth application, right? Automatically, which is the responsible to validate. Next, after authentication, now the request should be forwarded to our API for the inside session. Just this is the line what I did, sir. Any doubt? All the things are very clear for you people, right? Sir, now you log in, sir. Already log in. Okay, like now I'm trying to access this one. Happily you can access because already you log in, sir. You log in. With what name you log in? Sunny name you log in, sir. Now I want to log out. I want to log out. Yes, very simple. If you want to log out, what is the URL pattern? Is log out. Auth application log out. Okay, let me send this one. Maybe in the nav somewhere we may keep these links anyway. Now, have you observed? Sunny log out. Thanks for spending valuable time. Log out. Now log in again. Now this time here this is Django admin login page is going to come. I don't want Django admin login. Auth application login page I want. Okay. Here, can you please log in? Now I'm taking here Durga under Durga 1, 2, 3. Durga 1, 2, 3. Now observe this one. What is the answer by default you are going to get is sir, of course, happily we can able to access here now onwards. So Durga is coming. That's it. This type of authentication is by default considered. Yes. What is this authentication, sir? Can you please confirm? Session. Yes, so my intention is we covered almost all authentications, sir. Basic, session, next token authentication, next JWT, JSON web token authentication. Yes, sir, this one. Even I cover how to implement our custom authentication also. Okay. That's all. Authentications wise, you should not feel any difficulty. Only one authentication we didn't cover, OAuth. Maybe let me check that option. Clear, right? Now are you seeing session authentication, how it's going to work internally? What is the basic authentication like? That's all. Here the biggest advantage of session authentication is, okay, username and password we require to provide only once. Next, moreover, every time session ID will be interchanged internally. Session ID will be shared. Session ID will be shared, sir. Next, moreover, the another thing is we can what we call form. We can customize look and feel of the login form. We can take anything inside login form. Login form is we are developing. That's why colors, images, everything we are going to configure. That's it. This is the session authentication and basic authentication. Just a basic idea. In reality, we are not going to use. The next session, what is my target is, I want to develop one application. I want to develop a small Django application, which is going to communicate, which is going to communicate with, which will communicate with what we call third party API. Third party. It is going to communicate with the third party API. Like I want to move this one to the live, maybe Python anywhere like, and we will try to access that application, how it is going to respond. Regarding just so that in reality, how this REST API will come in the picture. A bit more realistic example I want to discuss for you people, so that you will get much clarity. Okay, that example you can expect in the next session.